All right. You are welcome back to the last part of this front end development, talking about web development. And the last part of it is a jQuery. So we are done with all other tools to build the front end application, the HTML, the CSS file, the bootstrapping. Then you've also gone through JavaScript. And the last but not the least is the jQuery. jQuery can be used to do both the work of styling and of course the JavaScript as well, just like we have discussed in the past regarding jQuery. So we'll be concluding the last part of the jQuery with looking at val method and how to make use of val method to style our application. And after that, we look at other method as well to style our application. We look at second method, which is KEYPRESS. And the last but not the least is how to use on prompts as well. So without wasting our time, let's quickly move on to the last parts of using jQuery to style our application. All right. We can use val method to get value of the first or of the matched elements. For instance, the value you enter in the text box, you can use val to get it. Which zero button you can select, which value selected from the drop-down box. You can use val method to set value and to also get value. So val can be used for getSetter method, meaning that it can be used for get method and setter method. Don't worry, all this my explanation will be clear to you once we move on to the practical application. For instance, let's look at this small HTML structure. All right, let me copy this. I'm going to paste on my Edit Plus. So look at the structure of the HTML. All right, it has the head and the body. Then we have linked our jQuery online, which is CDN, to this particular HTML page. Then this HTML page has header 1 and it has header 2. Then under the header 2, we have the another lists, about 4 on other lists: HTML, JavaScript, CSS, jQuery. Then it has the button to enter username 1 and username 2 with placeholder. Then we close the body and close the HTML. Now let's run this. Let me save this. I've saved this with ABC. Save. Remember to ensure that your CDN documents, that's your jQuery document that you have downloaded, or your jQuery file that you downloaded, is in the same folder where you store or where you save your HTML. All right. So I'll go to that and I'm going to run this ABC on the browser. I'm using Google browser. All right. Now you can see the HTML page. It's my browser. We have the other one, we have the other 2, and we have the on lists, and we have this. So how do we make use of val to get the value that I enter into this place? Let me enter Idris as this value. How do I get this value? And how do I set this value? Using jQuery. All right. Now, $sign is used in jQuery to do whatever you want to do. Either you want to set value or you want to get value. I want to return the value entered by the user in the first text box. So I'm going to use this syntax, copy this syntax. All right. So I'm going to open my console, Ctrl J. That's the console. So let me now, I've input Idris as my name. Then I want to get the value. So press enter. You can see that I can get the value that is entered into my box. All right. So the next thing we do now is, excuse me, just give me just 1 second. All right. So let's continue. Now I can use that to get the value, my input value. I can also use Jquery to set the value. I want to set the value that I input, or the value that is supposed to be input in that username. For instance, now I want to set that username. I want to set the username to allow, so I can use Jquery to do that. Can you see now? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? All right, let's move on. That is how to use val to set and get value. Okay, let's look at drop down. How to use val to set our drop down. Okay, look at this structure. I'm just going to include the drop down. You know the drop down button, you have a class, set the class, then the drop down will have the option 1, option 2, option 3. This is the drop down. Remember, you use option for drop down. So let me copy this HTML and see how we can work on drop down using val. Okay, copy this. I'm going to paste it on my edit plus, paste. Let me save this. Save. And let me run it again. Let me run this. All right. So you can see now I have a drop down. You can see I have a drop down. In the drop down I have core Python, advanced Python, Django, then Flask. Now I can get using value method. I want to get what is in the drop down, the first drop down, to get it. Remember that in this case, the drop down here, the first one, let me choose advanced Python. I can get it. I can get good advanced Python. I can also set the one that I want to be in the drop down. How do I do that? How do I do that? Star $select .val. I want to set to Django. I want to set the value as Django. All right. So let me paste this. Paste. So instead of having advanced Python here, I want it to be Django. On it. So you can see now it has turned to Django. So I can set. I can equally set it to another one. Maybe I want advanced Python. I want advanced Python to be set. All right. Advanced Python, because it's not part of the option given, advanced Python. Django, advanced Python. Okay, this one is capital letter P, not small letter, it's capital letter P. Capital letter P and together. Let me change it here. It's case sensitive, advanced, capital letter P, advanced Python. So I want to set that value to advanced Python using Jquery. All right, let me clear this, paste, and let me run it. You can see that I have advanced, so I can set the value that I want on my drop down, and I can get the value that is set on the drop down. So let's move on. So after this, you also go to, you can also select an add class. You can use add class as well. We can use this method to add specified class to the set of match elements. You can also remove class. You can also go toggle class. To remove class, remove a class from each match element. Toggle class, we can use this method to add or remove class from the match elements. Don't worry, let's look at the example. Look at this HTML. This HTML have a style, color background, color white, background red for the eye. For the low, talking about the class now, for the low, color white, background blue. This dot means everything. You've learned anywhere you see dot. Dot completed means text decoration. So we are talking about how to implement the three now. High, low, and completed. Okay. So, and remember that what we have done here is in style. We have done our styling within the HTML structure. Remember, we can do in styling. Not necessarily need to save it as CSS file. Remember, we can have our style within the HTML structure, like in this case. But I want to use Jquery to do the styling and to adjust the styling to make it more beautiful and to make it more responsive. All right. So let's have this HTML structure. Let me replace this paste. All right, fine. See this HTML structure. Don't forget to link your CDN Jquery, because we're using the Jquery to play around the HTML, trying to do the styling and make more functionality to respond to the way we wanted it. So you can see the inside for the high, for the low, and for the completed. So then we have the H1 list of activities. We have the unlist item. That's all. So let me save this. And let me refresh the page. Good. Perfect. You can see that we have the list of activities and we have the unlisted lists. Now, I want to style this using Jquery. All right, how do we do this? I will use the first one, which is what? I. To add I class to every L1 tag. $L1 tag, all the L1 tag here, add class. Which class? Add high class, meaning that the background should be red and the color should be white. Let's quickly run this. Copy. Let's run this, paste. Now you run this, perfect. You can see that the background is white and the text color is, the background is red and the text color is white. All right, good. I can make it also, I can remove class. I want to remove the I class from every even number there. Every even number there. Remember that we have even number from 1, 3, then 5. So meaning that we want to restyle this. I'm not running it first. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we want the style to reflect on the even number alone. And the style, we want to remove the style from the I, but not everything. We want to remove only the even number there. So if you run this, you can see that it has removed the style, which is I, from the even lists to even list 2, 4, and 6. You can use odd as well. Okay, let me remove all this. Let me use alt. But before that, I have to return the complete add style or add class I, everything. Then we can use, let's use odd number instead of even. Copy. Instead of even, I want to use odd. A. Odd. So we are expecting good. So 1, 3, 5, and 7. Perfect. So let's move on. So you can see how we are trying to use our jQuery to do the restyling of the HTML page. The next one is to add complete class for only second lists. Complete to only second list. Type second one. Complete. Let's look at the way that one appear. Complete. That one is going to cross the second list. Second list, which is I think that's reading Django. I want to cross it. So let me run this. Run it. You can see that that one is crossed. That is completed. So you can use 2, you can use 3, you can use 4, anyone that's you desired. All right. The next one is to add low class for every L1. So to add low class for every L1, because this class is not already set. So let's look at low, which is toggle the class. All right. So let me clean this. Let me run this. So you can see now. You can see that everything is white and everything is blue background. All right. So that is how to use that. So you can remove, of course, you can remove the low class. Just remove the low class, can remove it, copied it, let's remove it, removed it, paste. So I've removed it. Can also remove the high as well. So you can remove the class. Can remove the class, just put high here to remove everything. High. Can remove all the style. Copy. So let's run it. Okay. So I have to put everything in red first before I can remove it. Before I can remove it, I have to add high first. Copy this. All right. So I also have to remove this this one, of course. So I can remove the add now. Remove low class from L1. So let's see how I can remove this one as well. Aside the completed one, I can remove that one as well. So we have removed it. Same thing goes for the completed, you can remove it as well. Just put completed to remove. Let's remove this. All right. Okay, remove and put on others. Okay, so that's fine. So you can also return your. All right. So that's how to remove and add the class. So let's move on to event handling by using jQuery. Event handling by using jQuery. We can implement event handling to make our HTML element interactive. There are 3 commonly used jQuery event methods: click, KEYPRESS, and on. Let's quickly see that. For the click, jQuery click method can be used to add a click listener to the elements. For instance, you want to raise alert message whenever something is clicked. For instance, whenever the H1 tag is clicked, you should raise alert. You should raise alert message. You should raise alert message. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this structure to practice that. Let's look at this. Copy. Event handling is what you are trying to treat now. You're done with value, paste. Now, let me run this saved. So let me refresh. Okay, good. So you can see this one, jQuery, this is the H1. If I click on this H1, I want something to happen. What do I do to use jQuery to do that? Let's quickly look at it. To use click. H1 click function. Whenever the H1 is clicked, I want a message, I want an alert that say H1 tag got clicked. So let's try it. Copy. Okay, can you see now? When I click on the H1, I got alert message. H1 tag got clicked. Fine. So that's how to use click. Now I want to raise alarm again when button is clicked, the last button is clicked. To raise alert message and to change background color of the last button on click event, meaning that last button click function alert hello stupid don't sleep I will kill you. Change the background to red. So let's try this. Let's try this. Copy this. We can put this one in JavaScript. You can also save it as CSS and JavaScript. But I'm using console, so let me try this. Paste. Let me run it. The last one there, when you click on it, you can see, hello, stupid, don't sleep, I kill you. That is the alerts I want when that one is clicked. And also, the background to change to red. Good. So, you can see the way it works now. All right. So, let's also see the second one. You can, of course, you can save them as JavaScript and run them if you don't want to use console. But I'm using console again. Let me clear this. Let me use console again. Paste. Run it. Second one. Can you see? Hello, don't sleep. I beat you. Okay, change background. Can you see now? The last but not the least on the button. I'm trying to play around the button using jQuery. Okay, this is the last button. I want the first button as well when it is clicked. First button to be clicked, function, alert, hello, don't sleep. Then change the CSS to the background, yellow. Let's run this one. Copy. Let's paste and run it. Run it as if it is safe in your JavaScript in the same location where you have your HTML page. So this is the first one. When I click on it, good, hello, don't sleep. And at the same time, the background will change to yellow. So if you like, you can copy them and save them as JavaScript. Save in the same location with HTML, it will still work. If you don't want to use the console. All right. The second method after the val is called the KEYPRESS. You can use this method to add KEYPRESS listener to the elements. When we enter any key, if you want to do any activities automatically, then we should go for KEYPRESS method. For instance, you want to raise alert message for every character typed in the text. Every character type in the text, you want to raise alarm. Okay, let me just add this into the HTML. Let's include this button, enter name, into our HTML. This place shortly before the body is closed, or before the script is closed. Let's just add this. So save, and let me refresh. Oh no, I should add it before the, sorry, should be outside the scripts. Codes, add it. Let me save this. Let me run it. Okay, good. Okay, enter name. Let me break it. Let me break. For this, let me do this BR. Let me close the break as well, so I can come to the second line to make it more neater. Let me refresh this. Okay, good. Now, what are we doing here now? Okay, once I enter any value, I want an alert message to say insert one character. Insert one character. So that is the Jquery structure or the command that I want. So let me put it here. All this can be saved as your JavaScript once again. All right, let me run this. Okay, let me enter one character. Good, can you see? Insert one character. Insert one character. One character inserted. That's the message I want. Can you see now? Good. All right, let's move on. So that is how to experience the KEYPRESS method. Anytime you want to enter anything, that is what you do. Then for the on value is the most commonly used method to perform event handling in Jquery. Very similar to vanilla JavaScript that we have done with regards to event listener method. So, in summary, click applicable only for click events, which I have done. KEYPRESS applicable for one KEYPRESS event. The last one is on, which is applicable for all events like mouse over and mouse out. I want to program it in such a way that whenever I place my mouse on a particular event, something should happen. And whenever I remove my mouse, something should happen. That one is called on. For instance, let me have this. Let's have this HTML page and let's work on it. All right. Let's have one HTML page to practice on. Let me say we have this. Okay. H1. Okay. Let's use the same thing. So let's use this. On H1, I want to use on value, mouse over function. Whenever you have a mouse over on that H1, the text should change to Bangalore City and the background to change to red. Let's try it. Copy. You can see my H1 Jquery events. All right, paste this. What do I want? Once I hover my mouse on this H1 tag, it will change, the text will change to Bangalore City, and the background should be red and color white. Now let me try it. I've run it. Let me try it. Ooh, perfect. Can you see now? It changed to Bangalore City. When I remove my mouse from it, what should happen? So when I put my mouse on it, my H1 should change to this. Then when I remove the mouse out, change to Hyderabad, background green, color white. All this can put and store as your JavaScript. But I'm running it on the console. All right. So paste, mouse out, what should happen? It's change to Hyderabad. The background green, color white. Let me run it. Can you see now? Can you see? Put the mouse there, Bangalore City. Mouse out, Hyderabad City. Can you see now? I can change it. If I like, I can change it before I run it. Paste here, change it to Infolab Institute. When the mouse is out, Infolab City. These are the things you can do. You can do a lot of effects. You can effect a lot of things using Jquery on your HTML. A lot of things you can do. You can change the functionality, let the HTML page respond, let each of the buttons, let them respond. So making the HTML page to respond, making them function is actually the work of JavaScript. And making the style is actually the work of Bootstrap or CSS5. Jquery can do the work of bootstrapping, can also do the work of JavaScript. All right, so for now, let me run it. If I run it, can you see Bangalore City, Infolab City? Infolab City, Bangalore City is when you put your mouse on it for the H1. When you remove the mouse, change to Infolab City. All right, you've come to the end of front-end engineering with regards to web development. Summary of what we have done today is look at Jquery val method to get and set value. We also look at KEYPRESS, where the key is pressed. We use this method to add KEYPRESS listener to the event. And finally, we have on, which is used for mouse hover and mouse out. Thank you very much for this class. We'll be meeting in the next class to start our backend engineering using Django framework and our experience of Python programming language. So backend starts from this. So web application contains two components. We are done with the front end. So we're looking at back end. And the framework we are using is Django framework, which heavily rely on Python. So for the back end, for the application, which is responsible to generate the required response to the end user, which is displayed by the front end. So back end has three important components. The language is Java or Python. The framework we're using is Django framework, and the database we're using is SQLite. So in this our training, we're using the language Python, not Java programming. We're using the framework Django, and we're using the database SQLite. Thank you very much for listening. So we meet in the next class. I remember myself, Dr. Idris Alau Shogula.